Strap in, kids. Here's a reality check for you. Today, probably the worst day of 2017 for me. And luckily, most of the guys in the room only took the first two trades of the day because after that, oh man, did it get all shitty. Now, I knew there was something to today because I don't know if you believe in the Matrix or not, but the Matrix today was telling me that maybe I should leave this day alone because when I opened my computer, it wasn't working. I had the blue screen of death. You know, the whole thing shuts off. You get the blue screen. Computer came back. Just didn't seem to be working right. And I got this sense that maybe I should just lay off today. But, you know, again, I love me some earnings reversals. And when U.S. Steel rolled over and went red, fantastic trade. You know, again, I don't trade huge size. I'm doing it more for shits and giggles right now. I try to make a little bit every day. I'm not a huge trader anymore. But really nice trade in U.S. Steel. Then the next trade was OKE. Take a look at OKE. Gapped up, rolled over, went red, shorted it, made a little bit of money on that, and then all hell broke loose. So I was pretty much sitting out, you know. Oh, by the way, looks like I'm never going to shave. Market, the UVXY couldn't even hold green for 2 days. Looked like we were going to be green, right? Where were we up? When I made that video, we were still up $1, right? And we still couldn't hold it. So for all this volatility and all this fear, UVXY still telling us that the coast is clear. Actually rhymes. There is no fear, the coast is clear. But very difficult. And again, today was one of those days where I disobeyed the rules that I set forth, and it was one of those days where smack, smack, smack. Why do you have rules if you're not going to listen to them? So I don't like to trade in the afternoon because the reversals that I like don't really work. Plus you weren't getting enough follow-through. But I had to tempt fate. So the market started coming in, right? The Fed comes out and the banks start rolling over. Short the Citibank. Was making a little bit, got stopped out for a loss. Short the Bank of America. I was up a little bit, stopped out for a loss. Then we had the gold, the bullshit golds, the nuggets and the J-nugs. Get involved, buy more, starts going up, I'm up money. Guess what? Stopped out for a loss. Then we got the Clovis, the weird trade on the Clovis that usually it stays strong into the close. So I was like, ooh, look at Clovis rolling over. Shorted some Clovis. And here's the thing about the stop-loss programs. I had 500 shares of Clovis, right? And I put stops on every 100 shares. Boom, one gets triggered. Bang, next one gets triggered. Faboof, third one gets triggered. La 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 la, fourth one gets triggered. And that last 100 shares, bang, that gets triggered. And as soon as they took that last 100, woof, it fell 60 cents. You can't make this shit up. I mean, I don't know why they wanted my 500 shares. I mean, how many shares did Clovis trade today? 2.3 million. But for some reason, they wanted my 500 shares out. If you look at the chart, you will see the ass raping. And it wasn't, it's not like I'm losing tens of thousands of dollars, but that trade was so insane. Shorted it at 65.10 at 313 or 3, where is it? Yeah, about 3:12 in the afternoon, right? You'll see it. Shorted at 65.10. Goes down to 65.07, 65.02. Looking for it to break 65 for a retrace to maybe 64.75, right? So I put stops on at 65.18, 65.22, 65.30, and then the best one was that last one. I was like, you know what? I'll put the last stop at 65.38 because there's no way I'm going to get stopped out at 65.38. Shaboof, tsikibiki, pagaboof, kachakachakaka, I mean, it's absolutely insane. Now, these are the kind of days where when you have them, they're going to come. You got to just say it's just one of those days. But then when I look at the big picture, but then it got worse. I didn't even tell you the full story. So after getting frustrated and chopped up on the Clovis and the Citibank and the Bank of America and the Nugget and the J-Nug and then the U.S. Steel, of course, we were waiting for this thing to break 31.30 6 different times today. And I was the guy buying it at 31.33 and losing 10 cents, and then losing 10 cents, and then losing 10 cents. And then finally in the aftermarket, it decides to blow up past 31.30, to $32. You can't make it up. But that's not even where it ends. So you had, what was moving today? Oh, PULM. Do I buy it at 250? No. Even though I was like, if this thing breaks 250, chances are you're going to get to 3. Then it's at 3. I'm like, man, maybe I buy it at 3. Nah, I don't buy it at 3. Then it's at 350. I'm like, well, if it breaks 350, you're probably going to get 4. And next thing you know, it's at 4. And I'm thinking, I didn't want to buy it at 253 or 350. Am I crazy enough to buy it here at 4? Hell no. And it's still tacked on another 40 cents. So because what I think is that everybody's got a set list. I have my watch list. So I got the ETRM and the MIOS and all these other bullshit stocks that were going nuts in January. I have them all on the same list. What I think happens is when one starts to move, everyone thinks, well, maybe this will move now. Oh, maybe this will move now. Oh, maybe this will move now. So it started getting into the ETRM. So as Pulm was moving, I was like, maybe ETRM will have a nice rally into the end of the day. So I go to buy it. Guess what? No print. 750. Wham! Right to 775. I'm already pissed. But then it broke 780, which was the high of the day. Tried to buy it again. On the offer, sent my, it looked like there was quite a many share to be had at 780. Tried to buy it again. Don't get the print. Rocks right to $9. So it was one of those days. And again, this is one of those days where you just got to say, it was one of those days. I got to move on. So anyway, sucks because I don't like trading in the afternoon anyway. And I just kept pushing the envelope and just pushing and pushing. Because once you get into that mode where you're trying to make back the money that you lost on some other bullshit trade, you're not in the right mindset. And I knew that, yet I still tried to keep going. Oh, there was a 5-cent short. I was long the rig for a nickel loss. So basically chopped and churned and chopped and churned and grinded my day to a negative day when it was really pleasant where we just did 2 earnings reversals in the morning and that could have been it. That could have been it. And it wasn't. So again, if you got a guy, and I say this a lot, if you have someone that's always claiming to win on every trade, you know they're lying, first of all. Nobody wins on every trade. If you do 3 out of 4 every day, you're good. But then there's the days where you go 2 for 10. And luckily, it didn't turn out to be a complete disaster because I was up money and I just gave it back and then a little bit more on top of that. But it's part of it. It's part of it. And if you got a guy, if you listen to anybody, friend, families, gurus, internet, stock twits, because according to stock twits, Twitter, and YouTube, no one's ever lost money trading. Except me, I guess. I'm the only one that's ever taken a loss trading. But on stock twits, have you ever seen anybody even tweet, damn, I just got my ass kicked in that? Tweet that shit out. You never hear that shit. All you ever hear is gurus. Nobody, they got what, 700,000 people on that website or whatever it is? I don't think anybody's ever taken a loss, ever. It's phenomenal. All right, well anyway, there were lessons to be learned, and the best part about today was that most of the trades that I lost on, nobody was doing anyway. I was just sitting there just fotzing around and just losing 50 or 80 bucks or $100 on every trade I touched. And it happens. It happens. So right now, I did do something out of the ordinary. I bought the Gilead. Now you want to see some fun shit? I decided to hold the Gilead overnight. I don't like holding overnight, but the trade worked. It rallied into the close, so I decided to hold it overnight. Oh yeah, you know I'm asking for trouble, right? So GILD, I'm long from 72.50, and it closed at 72.80, right? So we're thinking that maybe it's coming out of this downtrend, possibly for a decent swing trade. So I like taking a day trade that's working and turning that into a swing trade. At least I've got a head start. I'm not just buying it because I think it might go up tomorrow. But everything's pointing to Gilead to having maybe a follow-through day tomorrow. Let's see what happens. The best phrase in all of stock trading. Let's see what happens. All right, but on that note, I decided to cover some UVXY calls today as the premium came out of those big time. I covered some January 2018 $60 calls. I still have March $60 calls, and anything near term, they're already worthless, but I was selling the 35s for where am I? I got the nothing really to talk about much, but you know, for all that move up, again, until UVXY now breaks the high point from where it was, I think it was Monday. I'll give it to you, UVXY. Until this thing breaks, I think it was 27.30 maybe? 27.23. Let me know when UVXY breaks 27.23, because instead of trying to pick a bottom on it and then watching it disintegrate, it usually is better just to play the momentum on those days where this thing's actually doing well. So if the day ever comes and this thing breaks 27.23, maybe I start lightening up on some of my naked calls, or maybe even go long UVXY again. Who knows? But still, the beard rages on. We haven't even had 2 up days on this stock, and the market has been quote unquote volatile. So it's just a freak of nature. And by the way, that dry ships, whoa, sick, right? Now, again, with the dry ships, if the guy who was thinking about selling it, he sold it, you do realize this is post-split dry ships now. I think you're long from $16, so you legitimately need this stock, I believe, to go to about $60 now just to break even. I'll go out on a limb and say I don't think it goes back to 60. But man, it's been fun to trade. Really fun to trade. But all done with the dry ships. You know, again, we just trade. You never want to own dry ships. I mean, come on. That's like owning UVXY. But yeah, awful day. Not embarrassed to say it, because you got to deal with these days. And again, if you say you never lose money, then you're lying.